Gluten Tag, guys. In today's video we'll talk about my favorite exercise, the pull-up. My name is Alex and I'm the bro. Most of you probably already know what a pull-up looks like. It's just pulling yourself up to something from a hanging position. And this trains the whole back, the biceps and also the forearms. The barrier of entry with the pull-up is a little higher than with most other exercises. So for most people the pull-up probably is more of a goal than something they can integrate into their training right away. Nevertheless, it's good to know the right execution of the pull-up because it also applies to easier pull-up progressions. But now how do we start with the pull-up? First up, of course, you need something to hang from. In most cases, this will be a bar. You can grab the bar with an overhand, underhand, or with a neutral grip. And all of these grip variations are totally fine and a great exercise. For most people, the underhand and the neutral grip pull-up probably will be a little bit easier. Because with the underhand grip, the back gets assistance from the biceps, and with the neutral grip pull-up, the back gets assistance from the biceps and the brachialis. All these three grip variations are totally fine and a good exercise, so just stick with the one you enjoy the most. And just like with the grip variations, also with the grip width, there is no real right or wrong. I would advise you to stick with around 1.5 times shoulder width, but a little wider or a little narrower is totally fine too. But please don't grip the bar 3 times shoulder width and think you're getting big. Gripping wider does not equal getting wider. A good rule to see if your grip width is good is to look at your forearm during the exercise. If your forearm is around perpendicular to the ground, this is good. With the pull-up, we start in a hanging position. And before you pull yourself up, first transition from a passive into an active hang. And this just means pulling your shoulder blades back and basically making a big chest. Before every repetition, you should make sure that your shoulder blades are back and also that they stay back during the whole exercise. Between the repetitions, you can either stay in an active hang or shortly transition into a passive hang, start a new active hang and then do the next repetition. Now we start the pulling motion. And just like we did in the row, also here we pull with our elbows. And we pull our elbows down, slightly in front of the body. The next question now is, how high do you pull yourself? Should the chin get over the bar or even the bar touch the chest? If you can manage to do this, that's fine. But if not, that's also no big deal. Of course, in general, getting the chin over the bar is a good standard. But if it leads to you just trying to get the chin over the bar at any cost and with no regard to the exercise execution, then that's not good. On the other hand, if you have a good pull-up execution, but you just can't manage to get the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters so that your chin is over the bar, that's also no problem. Don't get me wrong, in general, a greater range of motion is better. But if the greater range of motion leads to a worse technique, then it's not better. And once you reach the highest point with your chin over the bar or not, then you can start the downwards motion and just control yourself down. Really go down until your elbows are fully extended. Another thing to keep in mind during the whole pull-up is full body tension, so that you don't flop around during the exercise. So flex your abs, flex your legs, so that you are one unit. This way the pull-up will be much easier. Now we'll look at a few common errors, then some tips, and to round the video off, we'll look at some different pull-up variations. Error number 1 is a giraffe neck. Like already mentioned before, just trying to get your chin over the bar at any cost is not good, so avoid this. Error number 2 is a short range of motion, and I really mean short. Some people you see doing pull-ups with just 5 centimeters of movement, and this doesn't train the muscles good, and this doesn't train strength very well. The only thing you get out of this is that you can say I did whatever, 20, 30, 50 pull-ups. But doing good pull-ups with a good form is much more beneficial than doing this kind of whatever. Error number 3 is starting the pull-up from a passive hang. And the first problem with this is that it can lead to shoulder problems, and also you may have a harder time engaging the correct muscles. And error number 4 is kipping during the pull-up. First of all, this also may lead to injury because you don't control your body during the whole movement. And second of all, you're also cheating yourself by doing more than you actually can and thinking that you're stronger than you actually are. These were the most common errors that I usually see. Now let's get into some tips. And tip 1 is take your time. Take your time with learning the pull-up. It might take more than just 1, 2 or 3 weeks for you. Take your time during the workout and do more than just 1 or 2 sets of pull-ups. And take your time between the sets of pull-ups. 60 seconds is just not enough rest time for a movement that involves so many muscles. Tip number 2, like already mentioned before, is pull with your elbows. This will help you to engage your back much more, and in most cases it also leads to a better exercise execution. Tip number 3 is, if you're having a hard time with the pull-up, try, just like in the squat or in the deadlift, to brace before every repetition. Tip number 4 is holding back a little. So let's say you can do 7 pull-ups, don't do 7 pull-ups, just do 5 or 6 pull-ups. because in the pull-up, pushing yourself hard in the first set usually leads to much worse second and third sets. For example, with another exercise, I may do 7 reps in the first set and still be able to do 5 or 6 reps in the second set. But with the pull-up, if I do 7 reps in the first set, chances are that I may only be able to get 2 or 3 reps in the next set. So rather than trying to push yourself hard on every set, try to get a lot of good repetitions in. And my last tip is, if you have access to a neutral pull-up bar, try to do neutral pull-ups first. First up, it's a little easier on the joints, and secondly, it's also easier because you get a little assistance from the arms. Now, like I promised before we end the video, a few pull-up variations. First up, we got the archer pull-up, where you pull yourself up more towards one side. The progression of this would be the one-arm pull-up, but that's really hard and not a lot of people can do this. Similar to the archer pull-ups are the typewriter pull-ups, where we slide from one side to the other. Next up, we got the climber or commando pull-ups, where we have an alternate grip and pull yourself up to one side and then to the other. If you want to engage your abs more during the pull-up, you can also do a pull-up in an L-sit. And if you want to make the pull-up a little easier, you can use assistance from bands. And if you want to make the pull-up a little harder, you can use external weights. That's all for today's video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please leave me a like, subscribe, also write some comments, good for the algorithm. You're also very welcome to leave me some criticism down in the comments. This was Fred, thanks for watching. Of milk! With the underhand grip, the back gets assistance from the biceps, and with the neutral grip, the back gets assistance from the back. And with the neutral grip, the back gets Existence? Na.
Assisted.
Assistance. Habe ich gerade beim ersten Mal Assistance gesagt? Existence?
Also assisted, so it gets assisted.
Ja, habe ich bevor Existenz gesagt. And with the neutral pull-up, the back gets existence.
It is existence gesagt.
Wie heißt es richtig?
Du kannst das sagen, gets.
Wie heißt es richtig, das Wort? Assistance. Assistance? Existence. That's not the same. Okay. And with the neutral pull-up, the back gets existence. Assistance.
The double helps.
And with the neutral pull-up, the back gets existence. Assistance. And with the neutral pull-up, the back gets existence. Was ist? Assistance.
Sag einfach.
Nah, it has to hurt. And with the neutral pull-up, the back gets and with the neutral grip, the back gets assistance. And with the neutral pull-up, no, assistance. And with the neutral grip pull-up, the back gets assistance from the biceps and the brachialis.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Perpendicular?
Normal, as usual.
Ah, nee,
du machst
das-
nicht wirklich.
Ja. And on the other hand, now let's get into my ass. And my last tip is if you have access to somewhere you can do my ass. Hä? Rack. Okay, so hat es ein Ex angefangen? Okay, wahrscheinlich. Okay. Kind of similar to the archer pull-ups are the typewriter pull-ups, where you climber or commando pull-ups are also really cool, and here we have one hand